Hot dog goes in, chunks come out. You can't explain that.
Hot dogs and buns.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily Reddit content anywhere on the internet. Promise swearsies, it's science, just go look it up. Anyways, today we are jumping right back into r/NeckbeardStories with a classic, an absolute banger for you guys. It has been 6 years to the day since Sir Samwell was introduced to the internet by one user, Lady Saber. It's gonna be beefy, but I'm ready for it. My computer's ready for it, so let's go ahead and just jump right into this thing. The introduction of good Sir Samwell, or why my stomach now turns at the smell of spaghetti sauce. Hi everyone, it's Lady Saber back with story number 2. Pause. Story number 1 from Lady Saber is actually in the transgender Neckbeards video on my channel, if you'd like to go look that up. Anyways, this story will very likely have more installments. Oh yes. Player 1 is me, Lady Saber, 16 at the time. I'm Finnish, grew up in Belgium, here in America on a 2-year exchange program. At this time, I'm still new to the country and school, and going through a bit of culture shock. I'm heavy into fencing. It's been my sport for something like 10 years. For neckbeards, this seems to make me the katana-wielding milady of their wet dreams. Player 2 is smooth-cheeked neckbeard. We'll call him Samwell Tarley, just because they've got to be twins. Ooh. Fat as all get out, wears cargo shorts, bazinga shirts, sandals, and yes, of course, the fedora. He also smells like sweat and old spaghetti sauce. And he has a really high-pitched, nasally voice that sounds like a whiny toddler. But in this story, he's still going to have the classic neckbeard voice. Player 3 is John. He shares half of my courses and is really good at chess. He has a southern accent that I could listen to all day. I'm keeping his description limited so that I don't sound like an obsessive bitch. I met Samwell at chess club. I'm pretty aware that it's a neckbeard spawn point by now, but I go because I like to play. There are some good apples, like John, so I was there mostly just to talk with him. Today, however, he's running late, and he gets upstaged by Samwell. I'm setting up the board, and the seat across from me is empty, so Samwell asks to play. I tried to politely turn him down, telling him that I was waiting for someone. Sam then replies with, "Well, I don't see him." And I grind my teeth a little at that. Samwell plops right into the chair. He introduces himself with a tip of the fedora. I wish I was kidding. I'm not aware of the neckbeard stereotype at this point, otherwise I probably would have lost it right there. I play with Samwell though, rather than excuse myself, and it quickly becomes clear that he's not familiar with most of the special rules of chess. He accuses me of cheating on more than one occasion. First, when I make an en passant capture, and then when I castle queenside. He also tries to castle out of check. It is profoundly annoying. Not because of what he's doing, I mean I'm perfectly willing to teach a new player the rules, but because he's so certain that he's right about it. He reminds me a lot of Michael Scott from The Office, just generally throwing a fit and whining like a child when he's wrong, except way more annoying and way more cringy. Samwell's trying to make conversation with me. I'm not really sure what about because I can't stand to listen to his voice. He's swearing like a sailor, I guess trying to sound edgy, but with his voice, he just sounds like another kid on Xbox Live. I'm not able to tune his food out, however. In the middle of our game, he breaks out this all-you-can-eat buffet of pastas, raviolis, and God knows what else, all packaged up in Tupperware. Thanks, Mom. My food etiquette is probably a little uptight compared to most Americans, but this was just obscene. He's shoveling it in mid-sentence, chewing and smacking with his mouth open, spilling stuff on himself. Oh, God. The food by itself smells like death, and his face hole wasn't making things any better. Meat sauce residue moves from spoon to face to fingers to chess pieces with alarming speed. We get closer and closer to the end of the game, and Samwell takes longer and longer to move, even when he only has one possible move that he can make. Enter John, finally. He sees me playing with Samwell and looks a little hurt that he's been upstaged, but he's content to just watch. I can tell John is put off by the smell too. John and I get a small side conversation going, and Samwell is eyeing us back and forth. Samwell asks if John is my boyfriend. Awkward, because this is only going two ways. Either yes, we're dating and you're the third wheel, or we aren't dating and still awkward. John and I laugh nervously, and I tell him no. Chivalry ensues.
Why don't you have a boyfriend?
Well, I haven't been here very long.
Oh, okay. Well, when you do, just make sure you watch out for all the assholes and douchebags at this school who don't know how to really treat a lady.
For the record, I was already well acquainted with the nice guy TM mentality. Call it morbid curiosity, but I decided to press the topic with Samwell. What do you mean?
Well, lots of guys, unlike myself, just treat women like objects. Most women have never been treated like a woman by a good guy.
I'm not exaggerating this quote by an inch. It is forever etched into my memory like a spaghetti stain on white pants. John is standing to the side and slightly behind Samwell, cocking his head a bit, giving me the, is this guy for real eyes? I can see the train coming down the tracks, so I try to change the subject, but my good gentle sir cannot neglect to impose upon milady his philosophies.
Most girls don't realize how beautiful they are, especially without makeup, so they degrade themselves to get the attention of guys who don't deserve them anyways. Like, I bet if you didn't wear so much makeup, you could get a boyfriend like that.
3 tries later, he snapped his fingers, probably slick with spaghetti sauce. I went from cringe to rage pretty quickly, ended up making a stupid mistake, and the game ended in a stalemate, which Sir Sam treated like a world champion victory. There's not enough time left in lunch to play another game with John, but still too much time to leave early. I politely decline a handshake with Samwell and stand to talk with John. Samwell, sensing that he's needed in our conversation, hauls himself from his seat. There's really only a narrow lane between the chess tables and computers. 2 people can stand face to face, but 3 people of normal girth would have trouble. Talk about an elephant in the room. Sam sidles up next to me, mouth breathing and sweating, injecting himself into our conversation like a bad batch of heroin. I don't remember how, but fencing comes up, and Sir Samwell's eyes go big.
Whoa, you fence? Like, with swords? That's so cool. Where do you fence at?
I get this question a lot more than you might think. Most people don't really know much about the sport in the US, so this is a pretty harmless way of stimulating conversation about it. I didn't really think much about it, and eventually I just gave him the contact info for the gym that I go to. I doubted that he'd ever go past Googling it. At most, maybe give it to someone else. My coaches here are really fantastic people, so I do try to promote them as much as possible. Holy ravioli. I was in for a shock. Fencing practice is coming up next. I don't understand why OP doesn't like the smell of Italian food. I mean, I guess it can be a bit overpowering if you've got a table full of it. Or if Sir Samwell's mom makes ravioli, like, with shit inside. Which is essentially what it sounds like to me in this story. I think the way he was eating was probably more offensive than the actual smell of the food, you know. Eating is really primal, and it involves basically 4 senses. But Sir Samwell, being the big brain that he is, decided to get touch involved as well. I cannot wait to see what happens at fencing practice, so let's get into it. Sir Sam tries to sword, or why I can no longer have neckbeard free time. Hello, gentle sirs and miladies. This will be the 2nd installment of Sir Samwell. You might want to read up on Samwell in my previous stories if you aren't familiar with his dazzling charm. Player 1, me, Lady Saber, LS, still 16, foreign exchange student, undergoing extensive culture shock therapy, very avid fencer, been doing it for about 10 years. Player 2 and 3 are my fencing coaches, immigrants from Hungary, really fantastic people, husband and wife couple. Mr. Coach is a big guy with a thunderstorm of a voice. Mrs. Coach is petite, but still yells louder than Mr. Coach. Is spooky quick, and always gives one-on-one instruction with people, even in group lessons. Minor characters, but they rock. Player 4 is Sir Samwell Smoothcheeks. How I wish it wasn't. Fat, sweaty mouth breather, usually smells like death. Typical attire includes grungy graphic tees, sandals, and cargo shorts with pockets full of old pasta and meat sauce. Either that or he bathes in it. I'm not sure, but the smell is pungent. Sir Sam's mother, Mrs. Sam, is a minor character, but she shows up more often down the line, so I'll detail her. Curly hair, feminine build, wears mom jeans, very warm and friendly. I guess this is stereotypical of suburban white moms. The story occurs about a week after my last encounter with Sir Sam. To recap, last time I gave him the contact info for my fencing class. Might as well have given Sauron the ring, too. I want to give a bit of context first. When I'm practicing, I make zero attempt at my appearance. Makeup of any kind will mix with sweat and turn into acne soup on my face, so I go without. My hair is done up in a bun, and my boobs are squished into a sports bra.
Seriously, guys, it's very unladylike.
Anyways, practice starts at 5 p.m. and ends at 7:30 p.m. I'm there earlier to use the gym and go running before class, usually for about 45 minutes. Today, I run, making 2 circuits around the cross-country track, and I make it back to the building with maybe 10 minutes before class. And there he is. Sir Sam lumbers from the back seat of a minivan, and my heart lurches. He's actually wearing sneakers in lieu of his typical sandals, but he's not without his cargo shorts, a Call of Duty shirt, and fingerless gloves. I think that neckbeards always wear a certain minimum of neckbeard gear. Oh, and that fedora? Yeah, he had a different one. It was some kind of awful reddish color. I have a suspicion that it started out as white, and he had just used it as a ravioli receptacle. Not sure. I think his mouth is the main ravioli receptacle. The hat's just a backup. As I make my approach back to the building, he gives me a full arm wave. He says something as I run by, but I keep going through the double doors to the gym area to walk a lap as a cool down and take a drink of water. I'm running on a solid high of endorphins. I'm finishing my lap when Sir Sam makes his grand entrance. He tries pulling the door, and then pushes it open by thrusting his shoulder against it. He stumbles inside, panting from Lord knows what. Moving. Sir Sam is miffed.
What the hell was that all for?
What do you mean?
You just ran right fucking past me, and you didn't wave back? Why the hell would you invite me here if you didn't want to talk to me?
Sorry, Sam, I was just in my groove. He stays mad and fee-fi-fo-fums over to the water fountain. The tall one doesn't work, and the short one puts out a stream that you can't really get a drink from without suckling the spout, so he gives up on that and turns to me, asking if I have any water. I still don't know what for. I contemplate letting him touch his face hole to my water bottle and likely backwash into it. I'm feeling a little intimidated by him though, so I offer him the one that I drank from. It's almost empty anyways, and I think a bottle of bleach might be enough to clean it.
No way, you already drank from that one.
I know, gross, right? Before this escalates, Mr. and Mrs. Coach come out of the office area to see who's making a fuss. Mrs. Coach introduces herself to Sir Sam and his mother, who is parked and now come inside. A few other people are now trickling in. We have about a half a dozen regulars in the advanced class and 10 or so who are beginners. Mrs. Coach takes Sir Sam back to the equipment room to get him a set of gear. Mrs. Sam turns to me.
Are you Lady Saber?
Yeah. How do you know my name?
Sir Sam's told me all about you.
Fantastic. Oh, okay.
He says you two got to be really good friends at school.
I bet he did. I'm about to explain that we played one strained chess game before Mr. Coach comes and calls me for warm-ups. We line up side by side for stretching. Guess who's to my right? Both classes are taught in the same room, so I resign myself to having him hover near me for the rest of the evening. Stretches became a horror show. Everyone has varying flexibility. The idea is really to just untie all of your muscles and ligaments so we can practice. For Sir Sam, it's a competition. He nearly gave himself an aneurysm reaching his knees, and practicing lunges was even worse. I have a very long lunge. My hips drop down nearly to the floor, and my back leg is fully extended. It's weird, and it has its drawbacks, but it's just my thing. Sir Sam tried this once and fell over. Pretty sure that registered on the Richter scale. Oh, did I mention he's still wearing the fedora? Because, yeah, he's still wearing the fedora. Eventually it gets too cringy even for Mr. Coach, who finally tells him to set it aside. This continues for a whole goddamn hour. Sir Sam has pretty much given up on trying to talk to me. He's huffing and puffing, red-faced, and soaking himself in sweat. I feel a little sorry for him putting in all this effort to not get laid. Footwork practice was also hard to watch. If you want to get a picture of what Sir Sam looked like, just imagine King Arthur from Monty Python doing his gallop. Got it? Okay, now imagine that King Arthur is a hippopotamus, about 3 french fries and a Diet Coke away from a heart attack. That's what it looked like. Just relish that for a moment. After warm-ups, we're supposed to do drills. These are designed to improve your technique. Before, though, we change into our fencing uniforms with all the protective gear. Usually we all changed in the gym, being that no one is actually getting naked. I, however, am in no mood to have Sir Sam see me in any form of undress, so I gather up my wad of clothes and hit the lockers. When I get back, Sir Sam is still dressing himself. The snug-fitting knickers won't accommodate both of his hams and his oversized cargo shorts. I didn't want to watch, but I couldn't look away. Getting his jacket on was equally difficult. His arms
Just don't bend that way.
Mrs. Coach is standing right there with him, helping the good sir dress like a loyal squire. After all this, he whines about having to wear the fencing glove instead of his own fingerless wonder grippers.
These are better designed for traction.
I wish I was joking. The legitimate fencing glove was unacceptable as well, being too tight and
Making my hand have claustrophobia.
Jesus Christ. Eventually, though, he sucked it up. We paired off for drilling. Sounds twisted. I'm sorry. These tend to be specific to the weapon that you're using. I'm making it worse, aren't I? So foil fencers work with foil fencers, epes work with epes, you get the idea. The saber group is an odd number, so the three of us decide to rotate, so we each take a turn. Sir Sam is quite distant, being in the beginning foil group. It's almost like I finally have my sport back to myself. Yeah, as if. The foil group is also an odd number, so Sam slinks away from them and approaches me. I'm saved by the call to switch for 10 minutes until I rotate out. Sir Sam is waiting for me.
Hello, Lady Saber. Has anyone ever told you you look really good in...
He pauses here for a second, like he didn't think this compliment through before finishing.
That jacket?
At first I took it as a genuine compliment, until he raises his weapon. My mask isn't down, so this totally freaks me out, and I think I might have yelled, and he makes a jab at my chest. He didn't connect. I brought my blade up, caught his weapon on the outside, and rotated my blade in a circle. He let go, and his foil goes skittering across the floor into a wall.
What'd you do that for?
Sir Sam squeaks. He goes very quickly from scared to angry. Mr. Coach comes over asking what happened.
Lady Saber just knocked the sword out of my head for no freaking reason.
Mr. Coach turns to me. I'm sorry, he just made an extension at me when my mask was up, and I reacted. Mr. Coach gives Sam a glare.
I didn't mean to. I was just playing.
I have the urge to offer cheese with that wine. Mr. Coach is pretty pissed and tells Sam to pick up his weapon. He saunters away and avoids me, finally, for the rest of the practice. I got to finish the last 45 minutes in peace. I almost forgot he was there, until I'm peeling off my sweat-drenched uniform. My face is flushed, my legs are sore, I smell like a wet dog. Everything's going great. Cue Sir Sam. He comes up behind me while I'm wiggling out of my knickers.
Do you need some help there, miss?
I turn around to see what the whitest knight doth require, and he looks like he's been out in a rainstorm. His shirt is drenched, his thick cargo shorts are soaked with ball sweat, and his hair under his fedora looks like a used mop. He might be a festering corpse for his stench. I hold my breath while I pull my knickers off in the least sexual way possible. I leave my high fencing socks because I was not bending down or taking a knee in front of him to remove them. Spaghetti breath is still panting. I pack my stuff into my bag and stand up to go, praying that my ride will be outside. Sir Sam stands in front of me.
I'll take that for you.
Indicating my wheeled carry bag. It's okay, I got it, Sam.
Please, I insist.
He grabs the handle with his sausage fingers. I let him take the handle, just wanting to be out of there. We're both waiting for the other to go until he says,
After you, my lady.
I walk with him trailing behind me, and I make a quick glance in the mirror. Sure enough, this Creeposaurus Rex is staring straight at my ass without a care in the world. Also, my top is halfway translucent from sweat. Awesome. My ride isn't outside yet. Even though I'm 16, I can't get a license and drive in America for liability reasons, so I have to wait for my host family to come pick me up. Sir Sam's mother is here though, but he doesn't leave. I tell him thanks for carrying my stuff, and he offers to wait with me
to make sure I get home safe.
It is pitch dark out, but Mr. and Mrs. Coach aren't leaving until last. Mrs. Sam pulls up next to us and rolls down the window.
Time to go, Sir Sam. Hi, Lady Saber.
I'll be there in a minute, Mom. I just want to make sure Lady Saber gets home safe.
Mrs. Sam gives a chuckle and pulls into a parking place further down the lot. Oh, Please come back. I want to be safe, remember? Out of the blue, Sir Sam says,
My mom's such a bitch.
Whoa, what? Why would you say that?
'Cause she's always doing stupid shit like that. Getting up in my business.
Tearing down your mom. A+ way to converse with a milady. He leans back. With ninja stealth, he slides his hand along the concrete behind the small of my back. I turn my head and glance, letting him know that I see.
Those high socks are killing me right now.
Great. Now I'm satisfying my gentle sir's kinks. My ride was about 15 minutes late, but it felt like as many hours. Finally, I see the headlights. I get up to grab my bag on the other side of Sir Sam and realize quickly that he has no intention of handing it to me. Instead, expecting me to bend over and pick it up. I'll either have to bend at the waist or squat to lift with my knees. He's just looking at me with an innocent smile. Can you give me the handle to my bag?
I carried it all the way out here for you, Lady Saber. Don't be so lazy.
I am absolutely not going to put on a lap dance for this great white whale. His smirk is getting wider as my ride pulls through the roundabout. Finally, I have a witty comeback. I hook my foot under the handle, give it a little kick upwards and into my hand. I flash a smile and strap my stuff to the car. What? Oh, you thought I was done? Cute. Wait till fencing part 2. It gets worse. Much worse. Also, if you have any questions about the fencing stuff I mentioned, just ask. I cut out a lot of information to prevent this story from becoming a fencing lesson rather than a neckham story. God, that is absolutely wild, isn't it? I carried it all the way out here for you. Don't be lazy. What? Bro, finish the job that you started. Pick it up, put it in my car. I guess I'm glad Lady Saber, kind of knew what he was doing. God, I probably wouldn't have thought twice about it. Just grab the bag and GTFO, but she called him on it. She didn't give him the satisfaction, so that's at least a small win in my book. I suppose we shall see what happens in part number 3. Chivalrous Sam Phones a Friend Part 1, or Why Winning Anything Has Never Sucked So Much. This will be the 3rd installment of Sam the Chivalrous. Player 1 is me, Lady Saber, 16 at the time, foreign exchange student here on a 2-year program, undergoing culture shock and suffering chronic cringe pain from daily interactions with Sam. Player 2 is Samuel Spaghetti Breath, king of the Anelli, the ravioli, and the fettuccine, lord of the sandal socks, and protector of the miladies. Complete lard, wears cargo shorts, Minecraft hoodie, New Balance sneakers, and an Argyle fedora. He reeks like the garbage disposal at an Italian restaurant. Supporting character 3 is John, previously identified as Cute Boy. Slightly taller than Sam, he and I share a lot of common interests, or are at the very least interested in each other's interests. While we're not dating yet, it's definitely headed in that direction. He and his family are from Louisiana, so he speaks passable French, with a funny accent that I make fun of often. AskFred.net is an online registration system used to sign up for fencing tournaments. It's a great tool to see who's going to be at the tournament and how many fencers will attend. This story takes place the Sunday after Sam's first fencing lesson at a local tournament. It's a rather large event with a great mix of fencers. My coaches regularly send email updates to our group with upcoming tournaments, and of course, Sam is on this list. After a few days of school and minor cringy run-ins with Sam, I'm looking forward to a Sunday of competing for the first time in a long time, and the first time in America. The Saber event is in the afternoon, foils in the morning, and epes in between. I register on AskFred a few days prior. John has expressed an interest in fencing, so he's tagging along to watch this tournament. It's about an hour drive, so we sit in the back seat and talk shit about our classes. Both he and my host mother don't know much about fencing tournaments, so I'm also waxing eloquent on that subject. Regarding my appearance, I'm almost a polar opposite of how I present myself in practice. I do my hair in loose pigtails, apply eyeliner and blush, generally get dolled up. The makeup that I use deals really well with sweat, but it's expensive, so I only wear it to tournaments. The purpose here is to look innocent and harmless. It throws off the competition, and I look great in my medal photos. We arrive right on time, as Epe's finishing up and awarding medals. The last competitors are stumbling out, sweaty and gross, grinning like idiots on their victory rush. This tourney is being held in a dusty downstairs dojo, pretty upscale as far as tournaments go. It smells like fermenting sweat and vaguely like marinara sauce. I sign in at the registration desk before descending. The marinara sauce should be a clue, OP. Turn around, run! But she didn't, and of course there he is. Sir Sam perched atop the bleachers, staring into my soul from across the room. His fedora is covering a mass of dried sweat and grease that might have once been hair. Sam hails me with both a full-armed wave and a tip of the fedora, like he can't quite decide which one will win Milady's heart. He gets to his feet and jog-gallops down the bleacher steps, meeting me halfway. John, who had been walking behind me, draws up on my left.
Hi, Lady Saber. You look quite ravishing today.
I'm about to say thanks and move on when John cuts in. Yeah, she does, in a warm tone of voice, and lays a hand on my elbow. It turns into a Mexican standoff while these two rooster people suck in their breath and puff out their chests. Buck, buck, buck! I shoulder my way past Sam with John beside me, set my stuff down against the wall, and warm up with some stretches. John sits on the bleachers next to me, and we talk about Sam. I'm not sure if Sam was actually here to fence and just stayed another 3 hours to watch me fence, or if he saw that I was signed up and dropped in. Both prospects are equally discomforting. Sam is still standing in the middle of the room, trying to contain his anger that his chivalry was slighted by some douchebag. His knightly intuition must have indicated that I needed saving from the
unchivalrousness of John.
Because he joins our conversation.
Are you here to fence today?
No, I came for aromatherapy. Oh, hey Sam. Yeah, I'm gonna do Saber in a bit.
Cool beans. You look good today. Are you wearing makeup?
Here we go. Yeah.
Indeed, that's a pity. You shouldn't need to. I think natural beauty's the best way to go.
I smile awkwardly and nod, trying to work my way out of my own head so I can perform today. Sam opens his mouth to say something when John cuts him short. Sam, Lady Saber's trying to warm up.
John, Lady Saber and I are trying to conversate. Can you not butt into our discussion, please?
John shakes his head and looks away. I finish my stretching routine, still a long way from my groove, and dress into my uniform while Sam sizes me up. He is making my skin crawl. In most fencing tournaments, there are 2 rounds of competition. The first, called pools, splits everyone off into groups of 4 to 6. You fence everyone in your pool to get a feeling of how everyone is fencing that day. All the bouts are to 5 points. The pools are distributed so that players with a lettered rank are evenly split among lower-ranked and unranked fencers. After pools, everyone is seeded into a bracket for direct elimination. These bouts are to 15 points. The loser's knocked out and the winner advances. The ranking system goes from A, professional, Olympic, general, expert level, down to E, which is novice. Under E rank, there's U, which is unranked. U fencers are highly unpredictable, as it only really means that they haven't competed very much or haven't competed recently. Someone can practice for 10 years without competing, and they'll still be a U. In this case, because I had not competed in America before, my rating was a U. I'll answer more questions about this in the comment, but we gotta keep the story moving. My first pool bout played right into my hands. My opponent was ranked E, and it had clearly gone to his head. He swaggers onto the strip, sizing me up. I play silly, tossing my hair and looking overly excited and nervous. When we come on guard, I score my first touch quickly. I act surprised, ask the ref, did I get it? My opponent's a little miffed, but tries again. I land a touch on the side of his mask, hits like this make your ears ring, and he makes a frustrated noise. Next, I hit him hard on the cuff. He realizes by now that I'm a little more than I appear to be, but can't compensate, and the bout ends 5-0. I flounce and eagerly shake his hand. Sir Sam is up in the bleachers cheering for me, way louder than he realizes. It's more obnoxious than enthusiastic, and really cringeworthy because he's pretty much the only person cheering. He yells encouragements the whole time like,
"Get him, Lady Saber,"
and
"Yeah, that's my girl."
The pattern is the same for the next 4 bouts. It's about as helpful as a back pocket on a shirt. It's a great saying. Finally, pools are finished. There's some downtime between the pools and direct eliminations while the referees turn in score sheets and everyone is seated. Sir Sam takes this chance to woo Milady. He approaches me looking overly excited with his fedora in one hand, waving it like a slimy, wriggling fish.
"You fenced really well, Lady Saber."
Thanks, Sam.
"You know, I noticed that John wasn't cheering you on at all. You probably didn't see, but I was the whole time."
That's because I told John how annoying it is when you're competing. Yeah, I heard. It's usually better if you don't make so much noise. It can be really distracting on the strip. Sam looks dejected for a moment before getting visibly mad.
You know, I was just trying to help you. You don't have to be so rude about it just because I'm distracting you. I didn't have to stay at this tournament all day just for you, Lady Saber. I'm just being nice.
I wish I had a pocket full of cookies to give you, Sam, for being such a nice guy, trademark. After enduring this tirade of supreme kindness, it's time for direct eliminations. I seeded well, so my first few matches are easy. Sir Sam, of course, takes a seat behind me and moves seats between bouts, often crossing the room, to be consistently sitting behind me. And of course, he continues to cheer with all the gusto of a squealing piglet. I never quite find a rhythm, and I lose the final bout, taking a silver medal and earning a rank of E. Sir Sam is totally thrilled. I don't think he's ever felt more responsible for someone else's victory than in this moment. He shambles towards me, going for a hug, which I turn into a handshake, quickly reconsider, and turn it into a fist bump. He shakes the fist vigorously. Keep in mind that I'm standing for a medal photo with the 3 other medalists while all of their friends, family, and coaches are taking pictures. The result is a photobomb of Hiroshima proportions, which I would post here in a heartbeat if it didn't involve revealing both of our faces. Sam realizes that he's made a no-no when he turns to see a phalanx of camera phones awaiting his swift exodus. He tries to play it off, removing his fedora in a sweeping bow like,
Hey, I'm a medalist too. Look, I'm with the medal winners in their picture.
So funny. He has a cartoonish, nervous smile pasted on, which is quickly wiped away as the crowd starts to jeer him out of the shot. He tries to walk away with his pride. And failed. He keeps his distance while I remove my uniform and pack up to leave. As I head for the door, though, I'm intercepted by Sam, much in the way that an actual Sam might intercept a jumbo jet full of orphans.
Hey, Lady Saber, can I ask you a favor?
Can I refuse? What is it, Sam?
Well, I need a ride home.
What do you mean? Isn't your mom coming to pick you up? Or are you tired of having her
get up in your business? Well, she dropped me off, but I didn't know what time I needed to have her pick me up, so I was hoping you could just give me a ride.
Ah, very clever, Sam. Very clever ploy indeed. Only a master strategist like yourself could conjure such a flawless plan to spend more time with m'lady. Sorry, Sam, but my car only has room for John and I to sit. Oh, oops.
Well, how am I supposed to get home then?
I don't know, Sam, but I really can't help you.
Okay, fine. Guess I'm just not deserving of a simple ride home.
What? Sam, I just told you. There's not enough room in...
Whatever, Lady Saber. Can I just use your phone to call my mom?
I give him my phone, and he makes an exasperated call home. In listening to the one-sided dialogue, it sounds like he told his mom in advance that I would be taking him home. He hangs up and gives me my phone back, with an addition of sweat crust, and stalks off without another word. John, my host mother, and I pile into the car and make our drive home. I had not seen or heard the last of him that day, but that's coming up next. I'm gonna tell you right now, never give a neckbeard your phone. You know what's gonna happen? I know what's gonna happen. And I love how she's like, hey, could you not cheer because it's distracting me? And he's like,
I'm gonna cheer even louder.
That was the problem. You weren't cheering loud enough. Brilliant. Just brilliant. But I guess these are the sort of high IQ plays that we've come to expect from neckbeards. Anyways, let's see what the next story holds. Sir Sam Phones a Friend Part 2, or Why I Got 2 Hours of Sleep a Night During Exam Week. This will be the 4th installment of Sir Sam the Chivalrous, and likely a much shorter read than the others. Player 1 is me, Lady Saber, 16, foreign exchange student, going through some stress about midterm exams before Christmas break. Also, a very light sleeper. Player 2 is Sir Sam the Chivalrous, all-around Beatus beard, smells like a putrid puttanesca, probably bathes in meat sauce. While I have no in-person contact with Sir Sam for this story, I imagine that he wears all of his fedoras at once while using his phone to boost his chivalry level. This story spans most of exam week, beginning the night of Sam's first fencing tournament and ending the following Thursday. It's Sunday night. I've gotten home from the tourney, showered, had dinner, and gotten in bed. I feel good, finally able to relish my victory in peace. I fall asleep quickly around 11 o'clock or so. As I mentioned above, I'm a light sleeper. I'll often wake at bumps and noises in the night, or even loud noises in my dream, stay around for 15 seconds, and go right back to sleep. Tonight, I wake to the buzzing of my phone. New text from some unknown number. It's probably spam, so I go back to sleep. Later, more buzzing. Same number. I unlock my phone, squint like an Asian in the Caribbean against the brightness, and fumble to the new text.
Hey, what's up? Can't sleep. How are you?
It's 12:30 a.m. What the hell? I take the bait and respond, "Who is this?"
Well, hello to you too, Lady Saber. Can't believe you don't know who this is, though.
Sad face.
Seriously? It's like 1 a.m. Tell me who this is or I'm blocking this number.
Okay, chill, it's Sam.
That's all the answer I need. I switch my phone off and try to fall asleep again before getting back up and responding with, "How did you get this number?"
Oh, well, when I called my mom this afternoon, I accidentally called myself first. So I just had your number in my phone and I decided to text you.
Smiley face.
Dude, Sam, I have a midterm in world history tomorrow. I need to sleep.
That's cool. I'm studying anatomy, winky face.
Why do I even try? I turn my phone off and go back to sleep. Yet, like I'm in some well-timed nightmare, my phone goes off again shortly thereafter. I try to ignore it, but it keeps going. He's calling me. I silence the call, go back to a fitful sleep until I get another call. I pick up, probably sounding like a drunk schmeagle. "Hello."
Hey, Lady Saber.
"Sam?"
Yeah, hi. Sorry, I couldn't sleep.
"Hey, what a coincidence. Me neither. We must be soulmates or something." "Sam, I have a test tomorrow. What do you want?"
Nothing, just thought you might want someone to talk to. Did you get home safe this afternoon?
Duh. I know someone who won't be very safe going home. Yeah, fine. Sam, I need to sleep. I end the call and look at the clock. It's 4:30. I have to be up in an hour to be on time. I don't dare switch my phone into do not disturb mode, else I'll miss my wake-up alarm. Texts come trickling in. I feel like crying or screaming or just laughing hysterically. I can't go back to sleep, so I stare at the ceiling for an hour while my phone buzzes like it's on a cocaine high. I eventually drag myself out of bed and try in vain to cover the bags under my eyes. I do mediocre on the test, coming very close to dropping a letter grade in the class. The next night, same thing. I have a dozen new texts coming in every few hours. Some are short messages, some are the beginnings of an academic paper. I get a lot of picture messages, random funny memes, and rage comics. It's 2012, guys. As well as pictures of the final score in his Call of Duty multiplayer matches. God. They seem to pick up at night too, like he draws energy from gallons of Monster and streaming gigabytes of Sasha Grey and Asa Akira. I'm not sleeping a wink. My eating is off. I have manic bursts of energy followed by hours of uselessness. Ooh, feel that. On Tuesday night, I turned my phone all the way off. I slept through what would have been my alarm. My host family tries to get me out of bed. They don't know about this whole event, so I break down and spill the Cheetos. I end up sleeping a full 12 hours that day, and then another 4-hour nap in the afternoon. My host mother buys me an alarm clock so that I can leave my phone off at night. Because I missed an exam, I have to go in on Friday and do a makeup, pushing the family's vacation back by one day. I am pissed. This continues for 3 days. I think it's because he never actually had a real live milady to text, so he's gonna take this opportunity and run, like a Tumblr user with a new gender identity. Suddenly, those years of beard, straight white boy, and beatas all come pouring out in a slurry of carbonated cheesy meat sauce. Oh god. It's a horrifyingly beautiful slow-motion train wreck, which is why it took me so long to tear myself away. I finally block Sam's number Wednesday afternoon. He figures this out, however, and starts texting me from a different number. At first, he's apologetic, probably realizing that he overdid things a wee bit, and is trying to backpedal. Knighthood prevails soon enough. He starts to ask me about John.
You guys spend a lot of time together.
Yeah, we're pretty good friends.
Oh, just friends?
Yes, Sam.
So I see I'm not the only one to fall victim to the friend zone then.
I have no idea how to respond. Who would? So I just wait. It never takes long.
Indeed. Well, I really just think John only pays attention to you because of how much makeup you wear and the way that you dress. Really, if you want to find someone that can respect you and treat you like a lady, you can present yourself that way, and the right guy will find you.
Dress for the relationship I want, right? Okay, have any Uruk-hai propositioned you, Sam?
Plus, John doesn't really dress like he has any class either.
John wears bootylicious jeans and muscle tees like a normal hot person. Sam speaks from experience, naturally, having about as much class as a Marxist utopia. Deep cuts, OP. I'm pretty done hearing about how gross I am for trying to make myself look good, so I silence my phone and finally get a full night's rest in. Sir Sam walks back his last tirade and a series of pitiful messages that I can't even bring myself to quote for the cringe pain. That Friday, I show up and make up my last exam. I should have known that I couldn't make it out of this week without an encounter, IRL, with the obese, but hold on to your nachos because that's the next story. Let's see what the next story holds. Sir Sam the Chivalrous tries to Christmas. Christmas special. Or why I'm no longer surprised by anything. This will be the 5th installment of Chivalrous Sam. Trigger warning, pasta with extra cringe. Player 1 is me, Lady Saber, 16 years old, foreign exchange student. I've just finished most of my midterms, barely, with Sam's help. By help, I mean keeping me up at all hours of the night with creepy messages. Also, I'm looking forward to a week off for Christmas and experiencing the holiday American style. Player 2 is Sir Sam Smooth Cheeks, the pure and gentle knight. Smells like a vile mix of fermenting sweat and the spaghetti of Satan. He's also fat. There's no way to sugarcoat it without that being eaten too. Wears a plaid trilby, different one almost every time I see him. I still have no idea how many he actually has. Whitewashed jeans, Rage Faces t-shirts under a nondescript black hoodie, carrying a snowbank of dandruff on each shoulder. Also, despite his girth, he has a squeal of a voice that is almost indistinguishable from a piglet. Player 3 is John, the guy I'm crushing on who's in a few of my classes. Wears jeans, t-shirt, American Eagle hoodie, and a leather belt with an oversized shiny buckle. He and Sam have had a few minor run-ins, and they don't like each other one bit. Watching them face off is usually cartoonish. John also speaks passable French. This story begins Friday morning, the last day of exam week before Christmas break. It's exam makeup day, so a lot of people aren't there, but after the 2-hour morning exam session, the rest of the day is just Christmas parties and Secret Santa. John is my Secret Santa in English class by look of the draw. It's mostly just inside joke stuff. I think a do-rag and a bottle of Elmo shampoo was included, including a little thing of eyeshadow and blush, just for Sam. Interestingly though, the colors actually match me. I don't know how long he must have spent trying to pick them out, but it's really sweet. Around lunchtime, I get a new text from Sam.
Got a present for you. Let me know when I can give it.
Oh boy, I can't wait. What is it, Sam?
I can't tell you. It'd spoil the surprise.
I'm pretty sure the surprise will spoil the surprise too.
I can't give it to you at school, though. Maybe after.
So you're giving me something that you aren't allowed to carry on school grounds. Great. If you aren't allowed to have it at school, I don't think it's something I want, Sam.
No, trust me. You'll like it.
Let me guess, it's also 10 inches. We go around and around like this for a little while before I give up and ignore his subsequent teaser messages like,
I bet you can't wait to have it in your hands.
And my personal favorite,
it's long and stiff, winky face. Just kidding, just kidding.
Just as subtle as a sledgehammer. My mind is spinning for the rest of the day, running through lists of the possible gift. Is it a sex toy? A 5-gallon drum of meat sauce? Maybe a blade of Valerian steel? All are equally plausible. Fast forward to the end of the day, I'm filing to the bus loop with the rest of the school when I'm intercepted by Sam, like an offensive pass from Tony Romo.
Hey, Lady Saber, Merry Christmas. You look enchanting today.
Thanks, Sam, you too. I meant Merry Christmas to you too. That's what I get for not thinking. He's carrying a long tube in one hand, wrapped haphazardly in Christmas paper, like from Santa's homeless cousin. A blue bow is dangling from the side. It makes a fedorable picture. In the other hand, a foot-long hot dog is at the mercy of the black hole which functions as his mouth. Mustard, ketchup, and chili dribble, while the meat stick vanishes at an alarming pace.
I got you a present, Lady Saber.
Hot dog goes in, chunks come out. You can't explain that. I see. Are you gonna tell me what it is?
I can't do that. It's a present.
He's squeaking with delight. I assume he makes the same noise when Mom brings home a can of SpaghettiOs. Sam, if I'm not supposed to have it at school, I really don't want to open it here. We're at the bus loop now. I'm anxious to find my bus and just bug out. Sam presses on, uninhibited, thrusting the package into my arm like it's a squealing baby. Ironic, given the circumstances.
For my lady.
It's some kind of hollow tube. Definitely something long and stiff bumps around inside when I give it a rattle. Sam looks like he's about to jump out of his skin. This is embarrassing. People are looking. Sam is in his own little world with m'lady. I'm not tearing the paper off, so I just poke a hole in the end. I can't see inside. It's dark. I'm scared. I imagine the scene from Indiana Jones where all the faces melt off, and I feel like I might be facing a similar fate. I grit my teeth and reach in. My fingers find metal, and then something soft like leather. The shape is very familiar. I grasp and pull. No way. I draw out the bell guard and the first 6 inches of a saber. On the pommel is the brand for Leon Paul, which is Cadillac-level fencing gear, especially custom-made weapons. This one feels exceptionally light. I am totally floored. The amount of research to figure out exactly what was good in a weapon you don't fence with must have taken an enormous amount of time, and one of their weapons can easily cost over 100 British pounds. I can actually give him a genuine smile. Thank you, Sam. This is fabulous. It's clear that he wants to stay and talk, but I have to find my bus. I double dodge his attempt at a hug and narrowly escape with a fist bump. If only it was that easy. My bus has changed today, and I missed the announcement at the end of class. I walk up and down the loop, looking for the bus number and failing to find it. They start pulling away, one by one, and I realize too late that there had been a change. I try to give my host brother a call, but he doesn't pick up. Eventually, I'm stranded at the loop with a few stragglers. Sam has wandered off, like a lion that missed the first rush at his prey. I know that John carpools with his dad, so I message him, asking if my dumbass can get a ride home. I head up to the parking lot where the parents are pulling through and meet up with him. "What's in the tube?" John asks. It's Sam's present. He pulled out all the stops on a new saber. I draw out a little bit of it to show it to him. Damn, really? That must have been expensive. We have a lot of time to sit around before John's dad shows up, so we perch ourselves on the brick wall next to the sidewalk. I'm pretty sure I wear my do-rag for a portion of this time. Yeah, I'm cool.
Peace out.
Soon enough, Sam approaches like a tornado in a trailer park, hailing me with that full-arm wave. John and I are sitting, so Sam takes a moment to revel in his ability to tower over us. He's still eating. This time it's a Tupperware container full of ravioli. Jesus, does it end? Apparently not.
Hey, Lady Saber. Why are you up here? I thought you rode the bus.
I missed my bus. It changed.
Oh, that sucks. Hey, I know. I could give you a ride home. My mom will be here any second.
That's okay, Sam. John's giving me a ride. Sam gives John a sidelong glance that lasts a little too long. I could tell John had his jimmies rustled, so I diffuse the situation by asking John to find out where his dad is, which keeps him busy for long enough to cool down.
My mom will be here soon, Lady Saber. We got space in our car. It's no big deal.
That's okay, Sam. I'm riding with John.
Lady Saber, I don't have to offer you a ride. I bet John is just doing it to get some alone time with you.
Yeah, because having your parents in the front seat makes for a perfect makeout environment. He says this like it's a joke, but he's the only one forcing laughter. John has had enough and rises to his full height, looking down his nose at Sam. She told you no, twice. Back off, Sam. They both inflate like pufferfish, and I might have laughed if I wasn't so afraid of them tearing into each other. Thankfully, this only lasts for a very tense 30 seconds before Sam's ride pulls up. He makes no move to leave until his mom rolls down the window and starts hollering,
Sam! Sam!
He turns his agitation onto his mom.
What?
What do you mean, what? Just get in the car, Sam.
I'm busy, Mom.
What on earth with? Sam, we have to go.
Lady Saber won't come with. She needs a ride home.
Well, it's not gonna be with you, apparently.
Sam deflates like he's had a gastric bypass. A bunch of other people in the carpool line are staring. He shoulders his book bag and carries his still open pasta bowl into the back seat of his mom's car. Mrs. Sam gives me a look before pulling away. Naturally, Sam manages to screw this up further. As soon as I'm in the car with John, Sam starts texting me.
Hey, I'm glad you like your present. I told you would. What did John get you?
All aboard the cringe train. It was my secret Santa in English. He just got me some funny stuff that we like to joke about.
Oh, okay, but not like a real gift or anything?
I decided to have a little fun. John is sitting next to me, so he's reading too, and he eggs me on. He got me some makeup, and like a drunken streaker at a football game, Sam's off.
Seriously? He got you makeup? That's like the worst thing you could ever get a girl. Like he's just telling you, you're not pretty enough for me, so put this on. Why do you even put up with someone who clearly has no respect for you? It's really sad that girls get taken in by guys who don't deserve them at all.
Choo-choo! This continues for what might have constituted a 5-paragraph essay on why I'm the bitchiest bitch that ever bitched, gaining speed and losing altitude with each subsequent message. John and I are killing ourselves laughing. Finally, Sam finishes, and there's a pause like he's not quite sure what to do. I don't reply until he follows up with,
Anyway, what's up?
Cringe Lord. This makes me lose it. Sam, I'm going to involve myself with other people. You might not like some of them, but who I associate with is not any of your business. If you can't deal with that, then you don't need to talk to me anymore. He doesn't reply for a while. I'm back at home when he responds with,
Fine, but if you're gonna be that way, I want that saber back.
Keeping it classy like a true gentleman. Milady is unmoved. Sir Sam keeps his distance over the Christmas break, instead opting to post ambiguously about me on Facebook. The first post is something along the lines of,
Breakups are hard.
I wish I was kidding. The Facebook collection will follow this story, but it'll take me a while to collect the screen caps. I promise, though, it is worth the wait. God, dude, that's such like a trash move. Like, oh, okay, you're not gonna let me tell you exactly who to hang out with, then give me my present back. If I knew the present came with strings attached, I wouldn't have accepted it in the first place. Of course, I suppose that Lady Saber should have expected that it came with strings attached. You don't get something that nice for free, especially not from a neckbeard. God, just such a horrible person. But I suppose we shall see just how much more horrible it can get. Chivalrous Sam tries to Facebook, or how I learned what it's like to share the internet with a cyberbulimic. This will be the 6th installment of Sir Sam the Chivalrous, and spans most of Christmas break, including screenshots as well as interaction between Sam and I. Player 1 is me, Lady Saber, 16-year-old foreign exchange student from Belgium. Exam week is finally over, so I'm enjoying the holiday out of town with my host family. Also, I'm a huge A Song of Fire and Ice and Lord of the Rings nerd. Player 2 is Sir Sam the Chivalrous Smoothcheeks, the whitest knight of them all, generally a lard, with the ever-present aroma of stale Italian food. Never removes his trilby because he never sleeps and never showers. Sam also has the Facebook habits of someone with an eating disorder. I have no other notion of how to describe it. He'll make 4, 5, 6 posts in rapid succession about anything, ranging from atheism,
Look what a nice guy TM I am,
and general rants designed to just flaunt his supposed intelligence. This is the binge. About an hour later, he'll come back and purge all of them, or 4 out of 5, no matter how much time he spent on thesaurus.com writing them. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen, and it's why I'm not able to screen cap most of the stuff that he actually posts. Player 3 is John, guy I'm crushing on, all-around good person. We aren't officially dating yet, but it's heading that way. Arch nemesis to Sam. He's not in this story, but he gets mentioned, so that's a bit of his backstory. Sam's posts and comments are in red, random people are in blue, pink is for my ladies. This story begins immediately after the previous one, the day before Christmas break. I check Facebook, mostly keeping up with friends and families overseas, and I see one of Sam's tirades clogging my feed like a cholesterol plaque.
Breaking up with people you are dating is hard, guys. Honestly, breakups are the most arduous thing someone can experience.
Which fake girlfriend did you break up with now?
Fuck you, Blue. I've never had a fake girlfriend.
Or very likely any girlfriend for that matter. Also, that comment should give you an idea of Sam's dating history. Apparently in middle school, Sam made up a series of girlfriends in more and more outlandish tales. He'd find some girl on the internet, snag a few of her pictures, and flaunt them around. As soon as people would start poking holes in the story, he'd break up with her and start over again. Except each time the girl would get hotter and more amazing, and he'd round more of the bases with each of them. Eventually he claimed that he'd gotten laid by some out-of-his-league blonde. Unbeknownst to Sam, that girl happened to live nearby, and was in high school just down the road from the middle school. Some people who knew her got in touch, confronted him, with her in tow, and made a spectacle worthy of r/public freakouts. Continuing with our tour, if you look to your left, my ladies and gentlicers, we can see a homemade meme being circle-jerked by Sam and a beardy friend.
If you're looking for a fantastic guy to date, check your friend zone first.
Why can't I find a nice guy exactly like you, except not you?
I understand this fear, bro. Sometimes I think girls just want to be mistreated by some asshat. Exactly. I won't sacrifice who I am and treat a woman differently just because it's what they're accustomed to. If she doesn't care that you're nice, she's a bitch anyways, and you should just move on.
Well, that is a top-tier meme if I've ever seen one. Check your friend zone reads to me in the same voice as check your privilege. I checked, it's still there. Also, I found the asshat in question. Sir Sam also makes a pass at Milady, who appreciated his thought-provoking quote.
The best love is the kind that awakens the soul, that makes us reach for more, that plants fire in our hearts and brings peace to our minds.
I love this quote.
I'm glad, my lady. Finally, someone of the opposite sex who can actually appreciate a meaningful conjecture.
Jesus Christ. Oh, the cringe pain is real. How did he ever think that would work? All of these posts are from the same day. Those three are the only surviving companions of about 18 or so. You thought I was kidding? The next 2 days, radio silence. Blessed silence. Then, in the afternoon, a text message. It's a screenshot of What Makes You Beautiful by One Direction.
Not being weird, just a song I like.
I look it up, give it a listen. It's poppy and repetitive, so I turn it off after about 30 seconds. A few hours later, he follows up with,
What did you think?
Not my taste. My taste is mostly screamo and classical orchestra, with a few select American alt-rock bands.
Well, what is your taste?
I forget sometimes that there is no font for sarcasm. Gospel. No response other than a string of Facebook posts, of which only 2 survive. If you go to church, you're literally Satan.
If you participate in the organized destruction of independent thought called church, then we don't need to be acquainted.
Sounds like a good deal. If you don't go to church, you're neckbeard smoosh.
Take note, ladies. Reason is sexy.
The atheist experience with 3 others. Godless bitches assemble. I'm not going to comment on any of these innocent women and get them caught in the crossfire, but you know what I'm thinking, don't you? Come on. Everyone is a winner. I debate telling him that it was just a joke, but I dread the outcome of that conversation, and I don't have any idea how it would go. For the rest of the break, silence. Blessed silence. I have a blast with my host family, get more Christmas loot than I know what to do with, and generally just enjoy my break from school and Sir Sam. It's after New Year's Day when Sam gathers up enough alpha male energy to message me again. I keep up a strained conversation with him for about a half an hour while he talks about Call of Duty and stuff he got for Christmas. There are many times where I don't know how to respond, but he happily fills in the spaces and keeps on keeping on. Eventually he asks,
What's wrong?
Nothing, really.
You're not saying much.
Yeah, just not in the mood to talk right now.
Oh, what'd I do?
Sam, that's a pretty long list.
I know. Sorry. I just haven't really had a girlfriend that I could talk to very much before, so I'm still figuring stuff out.
I'm not your girlfriend, Sam.
Oh, I know. I mean like a friend that's a girl.
Okay, there was a space between girl and friend, so I give him the benefit of the doubt. Before I can clarify further the status of our relationship, he's off in another direction.
So, do you speak French?
Yeah.
That's cool. Me too.
Okay, that came out of nowhere like a clown in a shitty funhouse. I'm a bit skeptical, for obvious reasons, so I pushed the issue gently with him. The following messages were in French, and I've translated. You speak French?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Why didn't you tell me?
I don't know.
Okay, what are you doing now?
I'm hungry.
The shocker of a lifetime.
I'm being eaten.
What? You're being eaten?
Yes, I'm being eaten for lunch.
I give up here because it's pretty clear he's using some sort of translating software or an online dictionary. Rip in peace, my mother tongue. A little explanation about the French language. In English, when you want to use a verb, you need a helping verb to go with it. I am playing or he is eating. In French, you don't. I eat, I am eating, I do eat are all the same phrase. You have the subject and then the verb, and the helping verb is implied in the action. Some English speakers, however, will try to translate literally from English to French. So in this case, Sam translated, I am eating directly, and the result, I am eaten. At the very least, we can rest assured that this will be the most effective weight loss plan ever. Yeah, but who wants a Mountain Dew basted, Cheeto encrusted slab of fat? Ugh. Later that day, he follows with,
Lol, I don't really speak French. I was just messing with you.
I don't give a reply. None of this, however, is the crown jewel, emboldened by what could only be a vat of homemade ravioli.
Thanks, Mom.
Sam takes aim.
Hey, a bunch of friends and I are going to see The Hobbit the Saturday after break. Do you want to tag along?
John has beat him to the punch, actually, but I'm not keen to give him that detail. No thanks, Sam.
Aw, why not?
I don't give a reply. Soon enough, though, he follows up with,
Bet you're going with John, huh?
Am I really that transparent? Well, there's no point in lying to him. Yes, I am.
Okay, I get it. I don't think I'll ever be able to convince you that he's bad news, but I promise someday you'll see what I mean.
This isn't exactly a tough bet. Either we break up or never become an official couple at some point, anytime in the future, and you win. Otherwise, we get married and live happily ever after, because that's a realistic option. Another cheesy meat gorge of academic papers ensues on Facebook, followed by book-burning levels of purge, and this gem, the only survivor.
I finally deciphered the age-old confusion. Why do girls only go for jerks and leave guys who will cherish them in the dust? Well, ladies, mostly, and also gentlemen, the justification is in our upbringing. You see, when girls are little and a boy curses them or calls them a malicious name, parents inform girls that he just likes you, honey. In turn, when girls grow up and begin looking for a mate, the only thing they associate with affection is maliciousness. It's a representative model of Pavlov's dogs. Thus, when a man comes along who has class and dignity and treats women the way they should be treated, they've not been conditioned to interpret this as endearment, or they ignore his advances. In short, nice guys finish last not because we are inferior, but because society as a whole endeavors in the opposite tendency.
No likes, no comments, as it should be. If you make it out of that alphabet soup with all of your brain cells, I commend you. I probably did lose a few. At the time, I didn't really understand why he and people like him all have the same pattern of thesaurousing every fifth word in their online post. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I have an inkling. Most neckbeards fancy themselves as being on a higher intellectual plane than everyone else. Yes, most of them are slightly above average intelligence, but nowhere near the genius scale, and most are all chronic underachievers. Despite this, they've built an image in their heads of being the brainiest guy in their zip code, so they talk the way that they believe an actual smart person would talk. In the spirit of Facebook, I'll end it with a made-up quote. A smart man can play dumb, but a dumb man in no way can play smart. This may be the last post that I write about Sir Sam for a while. I've acquired a small following of trolls, so I'm taking a break until they get bored. I also have real life stuff to take care of. I don't want to saturate either Neckbeard stories or fat people stories with tales of Sir Sam, so there will be more stick and less carrot, at least for now. Well, I feel that, Lady Saber. I gotta do some stuff today too, but I spent a good couple hours recording. I'm definitely hoping that this video is beefy enough to sate some people. Even if they've heard the story before, I maybe put my own spin on it and stuff like that. Obviously, Sir Sam is quite a character, and it's no wonder that he developed his own little following, especially with the way that it's written. It's just impeccable. I find myself giggling the entire time. I can't wait to get into part 2, but it's going to have to wait a couple of days. We'll get into some nice guys, nice girls, weeaboo tales. You know, I've been lurking Neckbeard stories for a bit too long, so we'll explore some of our other options and just see how it goes. If people like it, then we can add it into the rotation. But of course, Neckbeard stories is the bread and butter of this channel. Don't get me wrong on that. Anyways, friends, I hope that if you did enjoy the episode that you will like, comment, and or subscribe. Check out the links in the description. We got PayPal, you want to make a one-time donation, Patreon for recurring donations, Facebook, Twitter, Discord if you want to get in touch with me. My other channel also has some gaming content on it. And of course, as always, I want to thank my gorgeous, beautiful, generous patrons for helping me out every single month. Damon Darkstar, Lady Nix, Crimson Albedo, Dot Nathan, Robert Waits, Just Austin, Pope Squid, Rebecca H, and Barlos Bugo. You guys are just totally killer. I cannot thank you enough for helping to drive my motivation and make this channel everything that it is. So I appreciate it so much. If you guys can donate, that would be massively appreciated, of course, but please only do so if you have the means. If you don't, then that's cool. I just appreciate you guys being here. And I hope that you'll be here again tomorrow for some more cringy goodness. And in order to do so, you'll need to keep yourself safe out there. Wear your mask, wash your hands, do the thing. You know what I'm saying? Additionally, just as important as taking care of your body is taking care of your brain. So take some time out and do something that you personally enjoy today. Something just for yourself. Because you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it. I'll see you in the next one, friends. And until then, bye-bye.